So I made the disc, and it takes the 5 levels of the unreleased version of R-Type on the Onslaught crack disc, and also combines the SID music that they actually finished as well. No sound effects. So I'll have to record the SID music separately and play it while I'm playing the game. But there is 5 levels to try. So it's going to be interesting because I never liked R-Type on the C64. I didn't buy it at the time. I already had an ST and an Amiga. I think I bought it for the ST. I got an Amiga sometime in summer 1987. Not the A500, the one before that. So when I went back, during what I like to call the emulator years, just to check it out, I noticed that the iconic rotating turret guns on level 1 were missing. Completely missing. Now they exist on the Spectrum and other versions. There's no reason why they shouldn't be there on the C64 in some form, but they're just not there at all. And it always bugged me because it's like, and then I did check out the story, and basically it goes that hang on, could be too bright. And that could be way too dark. Very tricky setting up this camera. Because there's a lot of black background going on. The camera doesn't really like that, even though I've got it set to a long shutter. Right, so yeah, and it turned out there was 2 versions of R-Type. The original version that Activision commissioned, and then Rainbow Arts came along and did a game called Catechis, which is so similar to R-Type. They took them to court, got an injunction, and then that couldn't be sold. And I remember it was promised on the next issue of Zap on the cover tape, and then it wasn't there. I think we got Time Tunnel or some other rubbish from US Gold. Anyway, buddy, what you doing? The Intellivision is precious. No, come on, only just fix the Intellivision. Good boy. So basically what happened was Activision decided this version that we're looking at today, the original version, was actually taking too damn long. Yeah, we might have too much of the curtains open. Maybe that'll help the situation a bit. Very tricky getting this just right. So what they did, they cancelled this version. Well, I say Activision, but Electric Dreams is Activision. And they had got, I thought they only did 2 levels. Turns out they did work on all 5 levels. Level 1 is pretty much complete, except the music that they'd already done was not played whilst playing the game, which we can simulate, and there's no sound effects. But this is the newest version that's been found with all 5 levels to some degree, and you just load them up one after the other as individual PRGs. Now this is normal. This could be how the software is 2 weeks before it goes to the tape mastering company. There's nothing wrong with this because they're obviously coding and testing it. Now it says CMVG demo there. So this was probably finished to stick on computer and video games, which I have no recollection of. I did used to buy computer and video games, but I think during 1987 I didn't buy every issue of computer and video games. If there was something interesting on the ST and the Amiga, I'd buy it. If not, I would buy Zap 64, because I only had an ST, possibly an Amiga, but I might not have had an Amiga, and a C64, and a VCS, but there were no VCS games in 87 in computer and video games or Zap 64. So let's check it out. So it is a bit weird because there is, you know, there is no sound effects. You'll have to put up with that. But the graphics are nice. The sprites and the backgrounds look good so far. Cheeky little adjustment there, just to try and get the best out of the camera. So it's silky smooth, everything's fine. You've got the beam weapon, so that's there, that's all done. And this is pretty much the demo I'd seen before. No, I went too close. I flew too close to the sun, stroke alien enemy ships. Well, I presume they're alien. Maybe they both come from the same particular planet. Or is it the Bido Empire? Now I have to say, I wasn't a massive fan of R-Type in the arcade. I spent most of my money on Nemesis and Salamander, so I will say that, but it was a good game in the arcade, I knew that much. Well, I only had so much money and I really liked Nemesis and Salamander, especially the two-player co-op with Salamander. So far there's nothing really wrong with this at all. It's everything's fine. Backgrounds, foregrounds, they're fine. Maybe just grey scales going on in the background, but you know, the little turrets, they're not sprites, I don't think. Ooh, getting a bit of cat action there. So I don't think all the power-ups have been implemented. So I guess this was about a month before, maybe 6 weeks before being finished. It's really hard to tell, because I don't know how long they'd spent to get this far, you see, but it's always the same with these kind of things, because you know, there is a momentum to creating games. When you start from absolutely nothing, it does take a while to get going. Alright, okay, I'll give up on that roll up. We save the rest of that for level 2. So, you know, but the graphics look great. They're probably not coming out great on the old camera. I just turned it down a bit there. Now I wouldn't play it with these settings anyway. I'm just trying to get the best out of it. So this is the end of level 1. Now if you have a look at the end of level Guardian on the actual released R-Type for the C64, it looks nowhere near as good as this. Absolutely nowhere near as good. You can't actually do this guy yet because you know, it's an unfinished game. There's nothing you can actually shoot as such. It's supposed to be something in the middle there that you shoot, and they haven't done that yet. I think it was level 2 that was my favourite on R-Type. The one with like the glass jars full of like some sort of living creatures, genetic experiments. That one. So anyway, that's level 1. I hope you're getting the full quality there, which you're probably not, but anyway. So yeah, so already there's a massive difference. Now, my problem with Activision is by sort of like 1987-88, they went nuts for arcade conversions, and most of their arcade conversions were rubbish. Very few were up to the Atomic Robo Kid standards on various Commodore machines. Need to put a bit more petrol in Chakotay's Zippo there. Official, actually, not. So, so yeah, what would happen was people like US Gold would quickly release Outrun on the ST, or Outrun is pretty crap on everything actually. Amiga, ST. It's fast on the C64, but the roadside graphic objects, those graphics have been done by someone with no talent. But the American version, which had like better clouds in the background and a few other small changes, is actually not bad. Certainly fast, certainly does everything Outrun does. Obviously some of the courses are missing. I don't believe it's a multi-load. But the practice was get it out there, get it on the shelves, sell it to the the unwitting consumer who assumes we've actually made an effort. See, it no longer says CMVG demo on there now, so this is actually what they were working on. So, and Activision wanted to get this out. They were more interested in getting something out for Christmas, so loads of people would buy that rubbish on the C64. I'm guessing it's around Christmas time, rather than miss the Christmas market by 4 or 5 weeks and actually release something worthy of being loaded up on the C64. I think R-Type on the C64 is a slap in the face, actually. I actually hate that game with a passion, the released version. So I'm just finishing my roll up here. And that's really what happened, and that really bugs me. Can't remember how good R-Type was on the ST. I think it was okay, because there wasn't that much to scroll, but there's no parallax or anything going on. I don't think there's any parallax on level 2 or anything like that going on the Amiga version either. Yeah, 1987, we're talking about clueless programmers who think the only way to do parallax is to use the 8 colour damned dual playfield mode. Get 3 bit planes on each. Original Amiga chipset being a 6-bit plane chipset, giving you 6 bits per pixel, which results in 64 colours. Although the last 32 are only half as bright as the first, still uses those registers to distinguish. It's actually quite an interesting screen mode, but the point is, R-Type on the C64 really shows the difference in attitude between first party console games on like the SMS, the NES, Mega Drive, Genesis, Super Famicom, Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, however you want to pronounce it. And yeah, I just think, so we're going to see now if it's only 4 colours. So I think you know, this bit, you have to remember this bit is still being worked on. So I don't know why they've gone with green. It probably would have been better if they had gone with, you know, orange. Now, like I said, we're going to have to assume that, you know, the first level, because it's been labelled as CMVG demo, is actually something they were probably happy with to release. So maybe because of the deadline they missed getting the sound in there for that. Like I say, we're going to simulate the sound, so it's not too difficult. I'm going to use an emulator for the sound, the SID file, simply because you know, the SID is not doing anything weird. The SID file, you know, the SID music file is not doing anything weird with the actual SID chip features, so there's no issue there. But we will use real SID, the latest version of that, so that's definitely good enough. So this level seems to have a little bit of slowdown because they were still working on this, you have to remember that. Now technically this dragon, the amount of stuff moving is not really that much different to the turrets on level 1, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt that you know, it could have been improved. Ooh, that was so lucky, that was. Are you going to come this way? Yeah, there we go. So they have done everything. Now personally I would have gone with maybe yellow and brown instead of green and brown. I don't really know why they've done this. Now I'm not you know, a great R-Type player at all, not even close. Now I do believe, can we actually eject it? So yeah, that's the important thing. So obviously on the arcade you can just keep doing this. You just got to time it right, because we haven't got any extra weapons or nothing. So now that thing is not coming out again, oddly. It's a bit weird. But like I say, this is a game that's in development, and it's just the way it works. Things seem to come together much quicker towards the second half of the time period it takes to develop a game. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, is not even done on the C64. You know, there's a lot of stuff you have to think about. Yeah, I don't think you can do it. So, you know, they could have changed all these things, so we can't really penalise it for this. Now, is it level 3 or level 4 that's got the massive spaceship? Now, because they didn't have backgrounds in level 1, you know, like those dark cyan, turquoise kind of tiles, which fade in, actually. They start off black and then they fade in by the time you get to the rotating turret section. I mean, R-Type is a very stylish game. I just preferred the way Nemesis played it as a one-player game, and Salamander was a two-player co-op game. And I always went to the arcades with my best mate, so it's natural that we'd put aside at least £1 coin each. You know, we were only, I think, about 15 at the time. Well, we spent all summer playing Nemesis and Salamander, and a bit of other games. I remember R-Type was there, I think, before Salamander, or yeah, I think it was Nemesis and R-Type. I think I just got on better with Nemesis. You know, I just found it a little bit easier to play. That's probably the difference. And with nostalgia today, obviously I cannot, you know, go back and remove that nostalgia that I have for Nemesis, or Gradius as it was called in Japan. So again, it doesn't say anything about, you know, a magazine demo or anything. So they've got the guy who done the SID file listed as credited for the music, but there's someone else, Robert Mogawan. So he must have done the sound effects, and we can't hear them. So he must have been working on the sound effects once Electric Dreams pulled the plug. Yeah, don't get too angry about that. At least I'm doing this video for you, innit? So again, you know, they're working on these levels. So it got a bit of speed up, luckily. So yeah, you know, there's a few glitches on this. So this is probably even less optimized or even completed compared to, you know, level 2. So there's definite progression here. So I mean, level 1, which remember is being signalled as being a cover tape demo for a magazine. I'm just going to avoid them. I have blown one of them up. So, you know, there's a lot of tweaking that has to happen here. I mean, this thing constantly sticks there, so that's, you know. But, you know, you can see that they've got graphics in, even if they then, you know, go back and decide on different colour choices and stuff. The important thing is that there is some graphics. It's easier to draw various graphic frames and just you know, change the colour rather than drawing them from scratch if you've already drawn them, I mean. So it's a really interesting game to hear, and it's a real reason why, if you have an interest in the C64, you should really go on the website C64 Games That Weren't. There's some real interesting things going on in here. So they haven't done the end of level Guardian for this section yet. So, you know, I mean, I'm going to say level 1 is 99% complete. They probably were just waiting on the guy to send them the sound effects. The music was already done. I'm talking now by the time, you know, the project was pulled. I don't think we're going to get anything else coming on the screen now. So, you know, we're going to have to say level 2 is probably about 75-80% finished. And level 3, you know, well, let's be generous and say it's more than 50%. And be respectful and not give the exact age number, whatever. Now, generally, I found things on, you know, C64 Games That Weren't do actually work on my internal SD to IEC. They're rarely on more than 2 discs, and even if they were, sorry, 1 disc, and even if they were, you could create D71 images, which is the you know, the file format, disc format used by the Commodore 1571 disk drive, which is the same as the 1541, except it's twice as much data. I believe it's a double-sided drive. It's got heads on the top and the bottom. Yeah, of course, the Commodore, is it the SF, SD or SFD 1000 disk drive, which looks exactly like a 1541, but was meant for the PET. So you need an IEEE interface for the Commodore 64 to use it, but that would hold 1 megabyte per floppy, and that was one of the first. That was ahead of IBM anyway. Commodore were trailblazers. They even owned Eagle Picture Glass or something, and that they were making a very advanced LCD screen for the Commodore LCD, which never got released because of Jack being forced out of Commodore by Irving Gould. So I can't remember what level 4 looks like, so there is that. I haven't seen the spaceship level yet. Yeah, my cat's complaining that the background graphics are all blue there, but I have no frame of reference to what they're trying to convey from the arcade, so that's a bit of a problem, really. Come here, mate. There we go. Thank you. I think we just lost a life there. Something happened. Yeah, we did lose a life. Just took a bit of time. So collision detection. So yeah, this is probably again around 50% complete. Obviously, adding the music and the sound effects is just as easy as doing it for the others. So although this level seems to run a little bit smoother than level 3. There's less slowdown going on. So I just hit the background again. So yeah, we have got unlimited lives because the number of men seems to be cycling through letters and stuff. So I don't know if a cracker has added that or if the coders put that in. There's something weird going on there anyway. Sprites are going underneath the background graphics there in blue, light blue and white over black background. See, I don't know if you get these alien ships, the red Delta ships there. Not Delta the game, Delta the shape, as in Delta Wing. Yeah, I think we're better off sticking with just rapid fire for short bullets. So yeah, there are a few bugs because as you can see, I collected the power up to get the thing that goes on the front, but nothing really happened there. So well, at least it goes to the front, so that's something. Ooh, very tricky actually. I need that, thank you. So I mean, you get the idea. Yeah, these look nice, these look good. I do like them, the little aliens. I think they're a bit smaller than they would be in the arcade, relative to the size of your ship on screen here. And yeah, they've obviously got like the turrets set up for like some data for another level because they don't match up, probably level 1. So yeah, we're gonna have to say, yeah, see, look. So I don't know how I'm supposed to do this level, but they haven't actually fired a single shot yet, so that is quite impressive sprite multiplexing going on there, because they are sprites. Oh no, after all that. You're going to set me just before the turrets now. So this is very incomplete, and now the scrolling has just stopped. Yeah, this is probably about 40% complete here. There's no, I doubt there's an end of level guardian put in. So they're working through the stuff they have to do, and they've obviously gone to town with level 1, and they've nearly finished level 2, and level 3 Still needs a bit of work, but you can see it's mostly there. Yeah, nothing else can happen there. So let's check out level 5. And maybe I can do a little summary whilst the SID is playing. It's not going to sound great on my TV. I haven't even got the clamshells around the speaker to improve the quality of the SID sound, because the speaker's on top of this TV. So yeah, I'm glad I went to the effort of putting this all together in one package. It's a nice little package to have. Yeah, you can really think of it as just a one player, one level. I think you can have 2 players. Demo of level 1. Really, everything else is a bonus. You could record the SID on your hi-fi on a cassette and have it auto reversing automatically all the time. Yeah. You just notice the projector has come back on, but the PC hasn't. So that's a bit weird. I'll turn the projector off. I'm sure I did. Ah well. Maybe level 5. Yeah, good. Level 5 has actually worked. I think these are sort of gold coloured on the SNES. Or am I thinking of R-Type 2 here? So yeah, so you know, it's like 2 seconds to change these colours there. That's no problem at all. I mean, if brown and green are multicolour 1 and 2, then you don't even have to change the graphics data. It's just a couple of pokes. They don't really matter. Actually, no, even if there's not that many pokes to change other stuff. Ooh. So he seems to have done a bit more on this level, but something weird going on with how they fade out the colours. It went like purple and blue there. Because on the arcade, the colours do fade out and in when you lose a life. So, like I said, R-Type is also a very stylish game. I believe it also uses the Motorola 68000 like Gradius and Salamander. In R-Type, Nemesis, Salamander, these are like the glory days of the shoot 'em up really. You're talking right smack bang in the mid-80s. You know, the Motorola 68000 come out, the arcade manufacturers noticed, and from then onwards it was like, yeah, that's just... The 68000 was a very powerful chip. It really is the 6502 of the 16-bit generation. If the 6502 hadn't happened, you know, the home computer revolution for us sitting at home playing computer games like this would never have happened either, because the Motorola 6800, which the 6502 rips off, and there was a MOS 6501 as well, but it's not quite as good. I'm losing a life at the same point all the time. Yeah, so you know, I mean, MOS did actually do a 16-bit version of the 6502. It's the CPU inside the SNES and the Apple II GS. I can't think of anything else that uses it offhand. But that is a bit of an oddball choice, because there's no real cost advantage to not using a 68000. Well, certainly not in the time of the Apple II GS, I would imagine. But you know, it's nowhere near as powerful. And you never had the 3 megahertz 68000. Motorola didn't even do such a thing. But the SNES has one, so that's a bit weird. I can't remember what the raw megahertz is for the Apple II GS. However, the sort of sedan demo on Mad Commodore's YouTube channel for the Apple IIgs is amazing, and you should go and check that out. Really impressive. The problem with Sword of Sedan on the Amiga is they're using the built-in, Commodore. God damn it! So collision detection is still a bit iffy. So I'm going to say this is a bit further on compared to level 3 and 4. Definitely compared to level 4. So I'm going to say overall, the entire game is probably 1/3 finished, and the last third of the game, if you've done everything else right, which they do seem to have done from what we've seen today going through this, I think, really, this is probably weeks. We're talking weeks, not months, to finish this. And I'm going to say it's criminal that Activision. Wow, we keep losing a life there. So, yeah, so it's criminal that Activision really cancelled that project and went with a cheap and dirty reskin of Catechist by Rainbow Arts. Probably for a real budget price included in the, whatever their demands from the court case they won could have been against Rainbow Arts for infringing on their R-Type license. So, yeah, let's have a listen to the SID though, as it sounds on my Sony Trinitron KV-M14T, I believe it is, T for teletext. No, I think I might have to swap the projectors over. I've just had this projector on for an extra half an hour for no reason. If you can see a blue rectangle in the background, that's what that is. Right, so let's load up SID Play 64. Now I decided I'm not going to talk over this SID, I'm just going to let it play. So go over this. Yeah, camera does not like that or that. Yeah, we stick with that. And this is the SID that was finished for level 1 in-game music